Today we're going to change the door blend actuator motor on a 2010 F150 on the passenger side. This seems to be a common problem. I actually changed it in March of this year and it already went out again. And I think that's because I used a Dorman cheap part that the gears got stripped. So I'm going to show you what it had a lifetime warranty at AutoZone, so I'm going to show you what they gave me. You hear that? That's the blend door actuator in here. So we've got to replace that. First thing you want to do is take this rubber piece off. It just pops out. There's two 7mm bolts. Take those out. And then you want to put your center console in drive. That gets it into the middle. And then pry up on it and the whole thing will come out. Just like that. Then we're going to take these, I think they're 9mm. No, 8. And we're going to take these out because we need to move this center console back in order to get these trim pieces off. Alright, once you get your bolts out right here, you put your hand down here and you can pull this side trim off. It should come off pretty easy. Just like that. Okay, because you got to get to some bolts back here. You got to do that on both sides. Once you get that side panel, once you get that off, then look at your shifter and you've got some bolts right here, 8mm, and then here. You got to take those out. You've also got to remove these bolts at the very front of the console, which is in front of the seat, and then move your seat forward. And then see where that white piece of paper is? There's two 8mm bolts behind that. That holds the back of the console down to the floor. Now once you get all four of those bolts out, you can actually lift this console up, as you see, and pull it back, and that's what our goal is. And see, all I did was pull it back enough where I could get to this bolt right here, because you got to take them out. Once you get that out, all you got to do is snap this forward. Once you get this side piece off, you've got to pull this little bottom fake wood thing, because behind here there's a bolt and this thing's got to pop out. So we're going to push this somehow and get it out. That's just a cover there. Let me see how that works. I just stuck my hand underneath there, pushed it forward, and it comes right out. And you got to get these connectors off here, because we got to take that bolt off right there. Now we got the 7mm bolt out. This thing just pops in. You see how it's kind of loose now. This piece is a little tricky because we got to pop this out a little bit, and then we're going to pull this whole thing out. But in order to get this completely out, you got to remove the airbag, and we're not going to do that. So let's see if I can pop this out a little bit. That wasn't hard at all. All you do is just pull this up a little bit, and the whole thing pops out. So now we got to undo all these plugs back here. All right, I got everything unplugged except for this that controls the actuator. So listen to this. That's what we want to fix. Now at this point we're going to pull the radio and CD player out. You've got 7mm bolts on each side there, so we'll just finish taking those out. Now once you get this giant thing out, just unplug the plugs from the back. Now that is the problem right here, and so it's making that clicking noise when it turns all the way back. I don't know why. Now what I didn't say earlier is I've already replaced this stupid thing, and this is a Dorman. I'm not sure it's this or the blend door that's the problem, so I'm hoping it's just this, but I don't want to do this again. I mean, it's a lifetime warranty, but it's just a pain. I'm gonna see if I can get a Motorcraft one. So anyhow, And if you want to be sure, I've got one of these stethoscopes. You can stick that in there, put it right on there, and you can hear it plain as day. All right, you see that little red clip right there? We got to get that out, and then we're going to take that bolt out, and there's one on the back that's going to be a pain to get. There's always that one bolt. Well, here, you take out one of these from here, and there's one on the back side of it. Now, the only way to get to that thing is I used a little small wrench through the back of the glove compartment, and it literally took me about 30 minutes to get it out. But you can definitely get it out. So let's see if this thing will come out. Yep. All right, let's see what the problem is. All right, I'm using this borescope to look at the blend door actuator gear, and I don't see any broken teeth. Huh. Okay, I've got this thing plugged back in, and I'm just holding it with my fingers, and you can see it. It's just stripped inside. This is garbage. Should I go back with one of these or Motorcraft? Probably Motorcraft. I'm going to see if the auto parts store can get me a Motorcraft first. The AutoZone swapped it out. They no longer have the Dorman brand. It's the same part number right here as Dorman, but they've got this Duralast. I mean, it looks almost identical. It doesn't have the Dorman insignia on it, and I think the Dorman was made in Korea, and this one is made in China. So let's hope. It does have a lifetime warranty, but my God, you don't really want to do this but once in a lifetime. And this is number 2, so I don't want to do that. Now, another thing I got was this thumb wheel. So I think that this little 1/4 inch tool is going to allow me to get behind it, hopefully, and screw that in. The one that's hard to get to. All right, before I put this thing back together, it's working. I plugged it in. I wanted to make sure it works without any clicking, and I can even try to put some resistance on it, and I can't even hold it back, so it's working well. Another reverse, obviously, is to, put the 2 screws in. You've got that one, and you've got the one way behind it. All right, got it back in. I'll put all this back together. You don't need to see that. It's just a reverse. You just got to press it back into place after you plug everything back in. Don't forget to push that back in. Now's a good time to clean your console, because it gets kind of nasty up in there. Get it real clean. And by the way, those of you that have these console shifters, they're all electric. There's no linkage that goes down from this to the transmission. It's kind of weird. Disappointing, actually. Don't forget these back ones on the console. Hey, it's all back together. Everything's working fine. Radio works.
Given pretty short shrift.
And this does not make any noise anymore. Gets cold and hot, so let's hope this one lasts for a while. Hope this helps somebody. Man, I recommend going with the OEM part. That's just a pain to tear all that dash out. It's all back together now. Everything works great, but if you got a F-150, use a Motorcraft part. If you got a Dodge, use the Dodge part. You know, just try to stay away from those aftermarket parts that are that deep inside of the dash. I don't mind using them, you know, aftermarket parts in other areas, but that's not worth it. So let's hope I don't have to do that again. It's not too bad of a job, so don't be scared of it, but it's not something you want to do twice a year. All right, have a good evening.